Another day, another hack. Just another day in the world of crypto. But this time it involves a big entity in the space. Find out who in today's episode. Plus news on Kwon and Terra Lunar Classic, and some updates on PulseChain at the end of the episode. So don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, drop a comment down below, follow me on Twitter at bencryptoshow, and let's hack headlines initially read 590 million BNB moved to Tether blacklisted wallet amid rumors of Binance hack. Now, this was correct in that the hack was involving Binance. That was the big entity. The amount was initially reported wrong. It was not 590 million. That would have been the second or third biggest hack of all time. This appears to be an amount that Binance held in some kind of reserve that they temporarily moved to a safe haven wallet. I guess when the hack was going on, they didn't really know what was happening. But the actual hack, the amount that was stolen, was between 100 and 110 million, so not quite as big, but still pretty big. And there's no other hack that I know of that's happened with Binance. They generally have very good security, so that's why this was a big deal. But the hack involved a bridge. That's where you can bridge, if you have tokens that are on one chain, you want to quickly swap them to another chain without sending them to an exchange and doing a full-on trade, you can just access the bridge. It appears to be a vulnerable sort of security spot where hackers have been constantly attacking and successfully making hacks. So this was with another bridge. They first bridged the tokens and they subsequently made a leveraged DeFi play using the funds. That's common too. CZ tweeted about it. It happened on the BSC token hub. That's a bridge connecting BNB Beacon chain and BNB chain. So it's still kind of a developing story. We don't really know much about it, just that it involved this cross-chain bridge, the Beacon chain, or the BSC token hub. BNB token went down about, about 10% when it happened. It recovered partially since then. So I think this was when people saw it was like a really big hack, around 600 million. Then the price just plummeted. But then when people saw, okay, the hack, yes, it happened. It wasn't quite as much. Then the price recovered slightly, but still, this is a developing story. And then, just summarizing up the hacks for this. So obviously we're in a bear market, but hackers have not gone into retirement, or they haven't quieted down at all. So far, there's been 1.9 billion stolen in crypto hacks in 2022. Now the number is 2.0 billion. Let's take a trip down memory lane here to some of the biggest hacks of the year and in recent memory. Obviously, the Axie Infinity Ronin hack, 625 million in March of this year. That was the biggest, and that was the single biggest hack ever. 2021, Polygon, they suffered a $600 million hack, but they lucked out here. They offered a bounty reward, and the hacker turned out to be a white hacker reward. He accepted the largest bounty ever, $2 million, and then returned the $600 million to the Polygon team. So they dodged a major bullet with this one. The Ronin hack, as we all know, that was the Lazarus group from North Korea, so those funds were obviously never recovered and probably never will be. What else? Wormhole, that's a Solana bridge, another bridge hack here. This was in 2021. That was hacked for 325 million. Wormhole kind of lucked out because they had Jump Crypto bail them out and basically just give them the 325 million for free. That was at the height of the bull market. Obviously, if that sort of hack happened now, Jump Crypto or no firm would be putting up the money for the hack and fronting companies like that. Still, you can't, positive gesture. Can't complain about that. This is a big hack in 2018, the CoinCheck hack, 530 million. This was done not by a professional hacking group, but by a Japanese doctor, a medical doctor. Very bizarre. I think that ranks as the third biggest hack of all time. Of course, the Mt. Gox hack, 2014, that was 460 million. So this $100 million hack, it's not quite in the top 5, top 10, but it's still notable because it's Binance, and they have not suffered any hacks in their history that I'm aware of. Maybe it's happened, but I haven't heard about it. Let's move on to Terra Luna Classic. So what is going on here? Let me load this article. There we go. So obviously we're not quite sure. So Do Kwon, no one knows where he is. Possibly Singapore. He's definitely not in South Korea. There is a warrant out for his arrest. They haven't really specified what it is, other than saying a violation of capital market laws in South Korea. Now this is a developing story, they did arrest a key aide, a Terraform employee 2 days ago. Yu Mu is his name, head of business operations at Terraform Labs. So it's like an operations manager, sort of a lower level executive. Key aide to Do Kwon. He was charged with violating the Capital Markets Act, which we already know. And then, in another article here, it did give us a few more clues about exactly what he's being charged with. So they were alleging you used bot programming to inflate and manipulate the market price of Terra's cryptocurrency. I never heard this one. Obviously, we've heard of bots being used to grow social media accounts, obtain followers. We've heard of bots being used in the comment section to direct people to another website where they will either be phished or be tricked into giving up money. I've never heard of bots being used to pump prices, manipulate prices in that way. So that's interesting. It kind of gave us sort of an idea of what the South Korean authorities were targeting. But then, just a couple hours ago, judge dismisses the arrest warrant for the same guy, Yumu, the head of general affairs. I guess in South Korea, the law is a little bit different. You can be arrested with a certain amount of evidence, and then you can be held in jail for 48 hours. And then if there's not enough evidence to go forward with charges to be indicted, then you automatically have to be released. That's totally separate than the laws are here. So he was arrested. They had enough evidence for that. But then the judge overseeing the warrant rejected the prosecution's request, saying it's difficult to see the necessity and significance of this arrest, basically saying there just wasn't any evidence to arrest him with the charge they gave. So yeah, it's sort of, don't really know where this case is going. Is it just a witch hunt? And obviously they're trying to blame somebody for the collapse, or is there actual evidence of criminal activity? No one really knows. The case is not nearly as clear-cut as Celsius and Three Arrows Capital. And though Kwon, obviously no one knows his whereabouts. As mentioned, the prosecutors did freeze $39.6 million of Terra crypto that belonged to somebody on the team. Do Kwon says that it is not his. I believe him. I think this belongs to some other member of the team. I don't think it belongs to him. He says, I don't get the motivation behind him spreading this falsehood, must flexing to what end. I think the motivation is to just use the media to try to kind of spread some negative information about Do Kwon to get him to voluntarily return to South Korea. So that's definitely the tactic. Asian countries use that a lot. But we don't, his money was definitely frozen. This article wasn't made up. It's just unclear who it was, and it does not appear to be Do Kwon. As for the Terra Luna Classic price, so it had this big pump here in August that naturally gave up some of these gains. Then it's picked back up a little bit. It's been kind of flat since then. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. The community is still as strong as ever. Will it be able to have another big pump like this, or is it kind of just wait until the bull market returns, whenever that is, hopefully soon? Then a big retail heavy coin like this is going to pump really hard in line with the bull market, if not more so. We shall see. But for now, the price has sort of flattened out, but the community has not diminished in any sense whatsoever. Speaking of strong communities, let's move on to PulseChain. I've done several videos on them. Very strong, die-hard community, heavy on the retail side, run by Richard Hart. This guy right here. So Richard, even though he's big, he has a big YouTube channel. He doesn't really post that too much, and he doesn't really do the speaker circuit, the podcast circuit that much. He does it a little bit, but this week he's really been ramping it up here. So yeah, a couple days ago he appeared on the Michael Sarshan podcast, and then he also announced on Saturday, and so tomorrow he's going to be joining Crypto Coffee's live stream. That's a PulseChain influencer, probably the number one influencer right there. And then I also saw somewhere, so Yvonne on Tech, this guy, really big following here, several 100,000 YouTube followers, 400,000 Twitter followers. I think I saw somewhere that Richard Hart is going to appear on his podcast too in the next week. I guess these two have appeared on talk shows together. They're sort of nemesis, sort of not. They've debated each other. But just the fact that Richard is very active on the podcast circuit this week, meaning, development is really ramping up. It sounds like a lot of good stuff is happening behind the scenes. Sounds like he might be making some big announcements, maybe on the Saturday podcast. We shall see. It's definitely exciting. Bear market, there's not many other coins or communities that are still around that are really kind of keeping people excited. So I'll take anything that I can get here. And, I like the PulseChain community to begin with. So obviously when the market rises and then PulseChain comes out, expect only good things. I put up this tweet today. I'm excited as ever for the Richard Hart interview with Crypto Coffee on Saturday. It's a great picture here. This is like my third or fourth most engaged tweet ever in terms of likes and visual impressions. So the PulseChain community is out there, very active on social media. Definitely a project to watch that I'm very excited about. That's it. Hope everyone enjoyed this episode. No episodes on the weekend as usual. Back on Monday with a new episode. Hope you enjoyed this one. Drop a comment down below. Hit the like and subscribe button. Everybody have a good weekend. I will see you on Monday. Crypto signing out. Later.